Hello guys, welcome to our channel once again. Today what we are going to learn is copying data from your data lake to SQL Server, the very basic ones. If you're not familiar with a data factory and how you can copy data, how you can move data, how can you can transform it, this is where you can start it. And there is absolutely no other prerequisite, no knowledge required. If you have never worked in ADF, still you can follow this. This is very easy, and I'm going to tell a bit of a tips or tricks how you can copy a selected columns from your source. So if you are actually familiar with data factory and if you're looking for more advanced or mid-layer knowledge, you can also watch this. So let's start with the basic ones. To tell you about any data factory pipelines, you need basically three important things. So first one is your link service. So how you can define your link service, that is your connection to the source. So how where you can see your link service is here. If you go to your data factory, now I have already created one, but I'll show you how you can create it. Just select on new and see, you can see all these sources which are supported by data factory, and this list is keep on growing every day. So they are keep on making new and new connections possible through data factory. Okay, so anything what you can see here is what you can connect to and you can copy data from. So right now my source is data lake, so I'll type in data lake. I'll say this, mine is data lake gen 2. Okay, so you can give any name, whichever you want. Then if your data lake is in your own subscription, you can very well select it from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my lake here. Okay, now another important thing is how you connect to your data lake. So there are two ways you can do it. First is through your account key, and second is through your our service principal. So I have explained in detail about how to create service principal, how you can create secrets, and how you can use it. So in case you do not have that knowledge, or if you want to go easy way, first thing you can do is you can just grab your account key and you can use it. Okay, so here is what you have to select, whether you want to connect through service key, service principal, or account key. So if you want to connect through account key, you just have to give the key. If you want to select service principal, if you are more advanced, if you know in Azure how to create it, if you have already created, go for service principal. Okay, so I'll show what I have already created. I'll say discard. In my case, I have created it through service principal. So you can see I have chosen service principal. This is my storage account. So if you want to give it, you can give it manually, or you can just select it from here. My service principal I have configured already. So if you say test connection, so whatever credential you are giving, you just need to test it before you create it. So this confirms that whatever credential we have given is correct. Okay. So this is more about connecting to data lake. Now our sink is going to be a SQL database. So this is simpler than your data lake. So again, you have to do the same thing. You have to go to new. Okay, what happened? Something is not loading here. Okay, so again you click on new, and this time you have to select SQL. So if you go for SQL, you can see multiple different things. So you need to be careful that you select Azure SQL database. If your database is Azure SQL, if it is on-premise, then you can go for your on-premises one. But that's a different ball game together altogether. I'll come to that in a different video. So let's go for Azure SQL database for the first time, because if you go for on-premise one, you have to set up your integration runtime, self-hosted ones. So here again, as you select this, you can either go and select your own SQL Server, Azure SQL, if you have it in your own subscription, or you can enter manually also. You have to give your SQL Server name, database, and your authentication details, SQL Server username and password. Okay. So I have already created this. Something is going wrong. Okay. So this is my Azure SQL connection, which I already have it. Now the second important thing is, once you have connected or you have created your link services, you have to go ahead and create a data set. So data set, how you can understand is data set is your metadata of your source or the sink, whichever you are going to connect. So you need to define and you need to tell data factory that what is going to be your metadata, where you are wherever you are copying data from and to both sides. So suppose I have my source is data lake, so I'll go ahead and I already have it, so let me show this. But if you are creating new, you just have to say plus and data set here. So let me just go and create it. That will give better picture. Okay. Again here, make sure that you select your source correctly. In this time it is data lake. I'll select data lake. This is very much similar to link service, but here an extra step which will come is that you have to select your format of the data. So if your source data which you are trying to copy is a CSV, you select the CSV. If it's Parquet, select the Parquet, JSON, whichever is your source. Okay. So once you select that, it will come in this way. So in my case, this is a CSV file. Okay, and once we have created a data set, I can tell very well where is my data. So this is my container. I have kept my CSV file here. Okay, this all thing can be configured later on. We'll see how you can do that. Right now it is hard coded one, so we are trying to read this particular file, and make sure that if it's a CSV file and if you have your header in the first row, you check this box. So you see what you will happen if you don't check this and you try to preview. It will feel like the first row, which is a header, it will consider that also as a data. You can see this. Now you see the difference when we check this. You see this is my first row is header. Preview data again, right? So this is again a confirmation that we have correctly connected to our data. Okay. The same way you have to configure your data set for sync, which is our SQL. Right, so we are successfully connected to it. Here we have given the table name, which is a copy table where I want to copy the data. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a pipeline. So if you want to copy all the columns from source to destination, you can ignore the first part of it, the set variable part. Okay, so let me delete this. So first we'll try to copy all the columns as is, and then we'll see how we can copy selected columns. So I have configured this already for selected columns, so I can remove it for time being. And one change I have to do is my SQL dataset is configured for a particular table where we have very selected columns. So what I will do, I'll change it to this one. This table has all the column, the other table has only the selected columns. So you can see here I have two tables and both of them are empty as of now. The difference is that the first table has only 4 columns and the second table has all the columns. So let's go back. So what you have to do is you just search for a copy. Just drag it here. Now it will ask you two things. What is your source and what is your sink? Now you have to provide your data set which you created. You click on this. It will open a settings page. The setting page. Select source. Give this as a source, which is the data lake. Then move to your sink and select the other dataset. Okay. So you are good to go. Okay, so let's do one thing. We will do both the copy at the same time in the selected columns and the full column, so that we don't have to run it two times. So we just drag a variable, set variable, and this is the important part of it. When you say variables, you have to create one variable at your pipeline level, and then you can set it. So value should be in this format. This is a JSON format. You need to remember this format actually. So this format, this part remains same for everyone till this point, and then all your source columns and sync columns. Suppose this case, this same column name is used in both source and destination, but here you see the difference. The country slash region, this is my source column, but in the destination I want to rename it to country. Okay, and this time I have selected only 4. So let's get this all copied to variable. Right now I'm hard coding it, but we can find this also dynamically. And this variable we need to use here in a mapping. So if you go to copy, this is a optional part of it. We have to say add dynamic content, and then go here, select your variable. One important thing is this is a JSON, so we have to cast it to JSON. If you miss this, you will get an error. So don't forget to add JSON. Okay, so now our pipeline is ready with two copy activity. Okay, so we have one problem here. So what we have done is, for the other copy activity, we have selected a table which has all the column, right? And now for the other copy activity, we want to use a different table. So what we will do is we'll create one more data set. Let's go to sync. You can create data set directly from here. You just say new. Again the same steps. SQL, search for Azure SQL. So you can still reuse your link service. Link service you don't have to recreate. Now this time we will select copy table as a table. Okay. So now we are ready to start our pipeline. So both the activities will run in parallel. You can see both of them are in progress. The first part is done, the set variable. This is the value which we have set. Let's see. So this has failed. Let's see what is the problem. So this tiny box here you can, one more important thing is, in this activity you will see 3 icons. One is input, output, and error. So whenever there is an error, you have to expand this icon and you have to see what is the problem. So you see that contains an invalid value 0.0.00. Okay, so there is something wrong with the data type. Okay, so we'll fix this. So other activity is going on. It means the other one. Let's see what is going in the other one. Yeah, this is succeeded. So one table is succeeded, one table failed. Now let's go and check. So we know that this selected, yeah, you see this one is completed, this one has some problem. So we'll fix this. Okay, so problem is here in our JSON file. So if you look at my data type in the deaths, it is numeric, but here I have given int 32. So in case it is numeric, our data type should be decimal. So I'll copy it from here. In the first attempt I had created it as int, that's why. Now let's go back and copy, so that we got this error, so that I could tell you how to troubleshoot, how to see the error messages. Now before we run it, we'll truncate this one so that we don't get duplicates. Okay, let's start. So data factory is a very powerful tool which connects to hundreds of connectors and can do a lot of transformation at scale. So this is the future, and we are going to learn more and more about data factory in my coming videos. Let's see, this time it should succeed. And we'll also talk more about the parameterization. Suppose if you want to do copy of 100 tables, you don't have to create 100 pipelines, or you don't have to create 100 activities. We can do it a loop through. So we'll also learn those parts. And this is where you can see your progress. Right now it's small, so it is finishing quickly. Suppose you have 100 GB of data. It may take few minutes to do it, and this is where you can see the progress. Yep. So now both of them are completed. We can go and check the data. Yep, it's all done. Thank you.